What's up, people, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be going over level 0 connective tissue inputs for the rotational movements of the hips. The reason why these are so important is because rotation is the fundamental movement of the joint. I cannot tell you how many clients have come to work with me with knee problems, back problems, and all these other issues, and it turns out they were just lacking rotation in the hips. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you the inputs to improve that are the most gentle while still being effective. So without delay, let's just dive right in. All you're going to need for today is potentially one yoga block, and then at the end, I'm going to add in an optional abduction with bent knees, and it's because, once again, this is a place where so many people struggle, so many people need a little bit of work, and it can be so beneficial for you. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to warm up the hips. We're going to do a capsular car movement. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you lay back on the ground. You're going to bring one knee up, bend the knee at a 90-degree angle. Then from here, what you're going to do is we're going to start playing with it. We're going to spin this femur inward. This is internal rotation. Give yourself a nice deep squeeze there. I want you to try and feel it cramping on the outer edge of this hip. Then we're going to go external rotation. Try and send the foot across the body, rotating at just that hip. We're going to squeeze there nice and deep, and then we're going to play with that back and forth 3 more times. Let's go. Send that leg out, deep breath in and squeeze it. 1, 2. Send it across the body, moving nice and slow, powerful and controlled. 1, 2. Send it back across the body. With this, make sure your hips are not shifting at all. Squeeze it there. 1, 2, 3. Send it back across the body. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Final time. Send it outward nice and deep as far as you can go. Squeeze it there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it back across the body. Deep breath in. Now squeeze it as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Go ahead and put that leg down. Give that hip a little shimmy shake. And we're going to come to the other side. So once again, knee up at a 90-degree angle. Deep breath in. We're going to spin that foot outwards. Send it laterally as far away from us as we can. 1, 1,000. And now send it backwards across the body. Deep breath in. And squeeze it for 1, 1,000. Let's keep going. Deep breath in. Find the end range. Squeeze it there. 1, 2. Send it across the body. Deep breath in. Squeeze it right there. 1, 2. Send it back out. Deep breath in. Squeeze it as hard as you can. 1, 2, 3. Send it across the body. Deep breath in. 1, 2, and 3. Final time here. Send it out laterally as far as you can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Send it across the body again. Deep breath in right here. And now squeeze it up towards you. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Beautiful. So now that you have those hips warmed up and we know what internal and external rotation is, we're going to get into those inputs. The very first one we're going to start with is external rotation. For that, what I like to use is I like to use a 90-90 position like this. So what it is my front leg is coming straight out from my body, knee bent at as close to a 90-degree angle as possible. You'll notice a lot of people will try and cheat by tucking the leg in. I don't want you to do that, because the thing about it is the more closer to 90 that this is, the more it forces this hip into external rotation, which is what we want. With this one, if this position is super uncomfortable with this other leg straight out from your body, 2 things that you can do is either A, instead of having the knee straight back and bent at a 90 right here, you can tuck the back leg in, sit back up a little bit. If this is still super uncomfortable, especially on this backside hip, you can always take a block, put it up underneath that hip right there, and then this is typically a lot more comfortable for people. For me, I'm going to go my own way. And I'm also going to spin so that I can show you guys how to get into this more effectively. So I'm in my 90-90 position, and what I want to do is I want to feel it on this backside posterior lateral hip, not quite in here. So I'm going to tuck this back leg in, then I'm going to pop myself up on my fists. I'm going to create as much anterior pelvic tilt as I can. What that means is I'm basically trying to take my pelvis and I'm trying to roll it forward, like I'm trying to push my belly button into the ground. Then I'm going to actively drive this ankle and this knee into the floor. From here, I'm going to lower myself down And if you're doing it right, you will almost immediately feel it light up on this backside hip. Perfect, that's what we want. From here, I'm also gonna give you guys a couple of options in case you want to make it a little bit more advanced or if you wanna get into it deeper. But for now, all I want you to do is take a deep breath in, exhale, and then sink into that stretch. The number one rule here is I want your spine to try and stay as nice and straight and lead with the belly button. What a lot of people do is they round their spines and then they have their pelvis shift backwards. We're trying to dissociate the femur from the pelvis. So we always want that pelvis coming up, over forward, like it's gonna come up over the front side of this leg. You'll even feel this backside glute here starting to lift off the floor. That's what I want. From here, we're gonna keep sinking into it. And now this option is for people who are more advanced, who maybe they don't quite feel it as much or they feel like they can go deeper. If you'd like, in order to create more external rotation of that femur, either A, you're gonna start driving this hip towards the floor, or if you're kind of at your limit there, you're gonna take this back knee, push it behind you, straighten out that leg, and then you're really gonna try and drive the crest of the pelvis on this side into the floor. And that is a beautiful feeling right there. So now we've already been in this stretch for about a minute. I'm gonna give us another minute and a half just to sink into it, to relax, to release, to let it open up. Oh, and to feel even better. As always, if you'd like, you can scan the stretch. You can walk the hands to one side, walk them to the other side, see how that affects it. Really customize this to your body, to what feels tight, to what feels like it needs attention. And then you're just gonna breathe and relax and sink into it. Amazing work here, amazing work. We've got just 30 seconds left here. That's all. Keep trying to push that belly button forward over the front side of that leg. Keep sinking deeper into it. Use the breath all the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. So we're going to slowly come on up out of that, push our way up, and then we're going to go straight into that other side. So I'm going to swap legs here so that you can get a different view. So once again, my leg is coming straight out in front of me. I'm gonna have this other leg straight out to the side. I'm gonna tuck that back foot in. From here, I'm gonna pop myself up on my fists. I'm gonna create that anterior pelvic tilt, like I'm trying to push my hip towards the back of the room. Actively drive the ankle and the knee into the floor gently. Take a deep breath in. And then I'm gonna sink deep into that stretch. Once again, keeping the integrity of my spine, leading with my belly button, like I'm trying to pull this hip up and over the top of this front side femur. And then I'm gonna sink into that. Once again, for me, I'm gonna take this back leg and I'm gonna push it straight back. And then I'm gonna drive the opposite side hip over here into the floor, allowing this to lift up and really sink deep into that stretch. Beautiful. From here, we're just gonna hold it. 2 minutes starts right now. As I'm here, I'm using a restorative breathing pattern. 4 seconds in through the nose, followed by 8 slow seconds out the mouth. You're doing amazing. 1 minute down, halfway there, 1 minute to go. Make any micro adjustments you might need to try and sink deeper into that stretch. If anything's feeling a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too relaxed, for me, I'm going to try and drive this opposite side hip even more towards the ground. Oh, that's a beautiful feeling. And then sink deeper into it. A big challenge for a lot of people is if this front leg isn't bent at a perfect 90-degree angle, you can try and push it as close to that 90 as you possibly can. And then that a lot of times will open up and force that external rotation. Beautiful. Just 10 seconds to go. Give me a nice deep breath in. Exhale, and I want you to sink, soften, relax, release as deep into that stretch as you possibly can. Holding there for about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. You can come on up out of that nice and slowly. And so that is external rotation. What we're going to do now is we're going to do internal rotation of the leg. So if external rotation is where I'm spinning my femur outward like that, internal rotation, I'm going to be spinning it inward like this. We're going to use the same 90-90 position. However, instead of focusing on that front side leg, we're going to focus on the back leg here. So what that looks like is, again, I'm going to be in this 90-90 position. Front leg, it's okay if it tucks in a little bit or if it does that, because I'm going to be focusing on this back one here. I want that ankle pushed out until the knee is bent at a perfect 90-degree angle. This is going to maximize the internal rotation that we can naturally create by blocking it with the floor. I'm going to move over just a little bit so that then my leg is completely on my mat. From here, what we want to do is either A, we drive the femur more internally, or B, we drive the pelvis externally, creating that oppositional action here. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop myself up on my fists, then I'm going to create posterior pelvic tuck. So last time we did anterior, where we're pushing our hips out like that. I want you to do posterior pelvic tuck, driving that pelvis up and under. From here, start driving and pushing that knee away from your body, slowly sink down to the mat, and then at this point, hopefully you're starting to feel it already. A lot of times this just lights up for people. If you don't, ways to intensify it are, once again, we're going to try and drive that pelvis more over back in lieu of driving that femur more internally. So what that looks like is sitting up nice and tall and then starting to rotate over this leg with the upper body. A lot of times you'll immediately start feeling it right in here. That's what we want. Once again, we're going to get in position and then we're going to hold for 2 minutes. The entire time, I want you just breathing and sinking deeper into that stretch. Ways that you can make this even more intense is you can try and sit up a little bit taller, and the more upright you are, the more it's going to stretch and push this tissue here open. That's what we want. Ooh, keep sinking into it. This is some of the absolute gnarliest, especially if you haven't trained it, the absolute worst tissue and movement to open up, but it is one of the absolute most crucial and necessary movements in your body. A vast majority of my clients that have come to me typically lack internal rotation, and it plays absolute havoc, especially with knees, back, hips, everything up and down the chain. And then just keep squeezing into that. There you go. Relaxing, releasing, opening up. We've got just under 30 seconds, about 20 left. Keep sinking into it a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit more, a little bit deeper. Final breath in. And exhale. Sink, soften, relax, release, put that tissue at as absolute much tension as you possibly can, right up to that end range, half step over, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We'll untwist, come out of that nice and slowly. Sometimes it can be a little intense. That's okay. We're going to go straight into that other side. So once again, we're going to set up in that 90-90 position. This leg coming straight out. Back leg coming once again straight out, parallel to my body. Knee bent at a perfect 90-degree angle to maximize that internal rotation. From here, pop yourself up on your fist. Give me that posterior pelvic tuck, trying to scoop that pelvis up and forward. Then start pushing the knee out to the side. Slowly lower yourself down. And now from this position, deep breath in. Start sinking backwards with that pelvis. And if you want to, you can start rotating over the top of it. Oh, yeah, my left side is very, very limited compared to my right. I'm feeling that already. And now from here, just breathe. A little bit more, a little bit deeper. Trying to relax in that hip. Finding the place that feels the absolute gnarliest, and then sink even deeper into it. Ways you can also change this is try and again push that knee out from your body. Because ostensibly what we're doing when we're twisting the joint is we're taking two bones and the joint capsule that surrounds them, and we're literally just twisting it. We're just going, and so one thing that you can do to make that even more intense is create what's called distraction, where you're basically trying to pull the bones apart. So when you twist it and pull it apart, it is a beautiful feeling. And by beautiful, I mean almost, almost nauseating. Oh, amazing work here, guys. We've got just under a minute left. Keep sinking into that stretch. Keep allowing that joint capsule to open up. Anywhere that it feels particularly intense, give me a deep breath in. And a slow 8 count out, sink into it even deeper. That's it. 10 seconds left. Give me a nice deep breath in. Exhale and sink, 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 sink. Soften, relax, release. Let it open up as much as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and come on out of that nice and slowly. Oh, that's a good feeling. Okay. So now for those of you that only want to do rotational inputs on the hips, this is a good place to stop. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on a bit of abduction with a bent knee. The reason why I like to teach it this way is because you have tissue that crosses both your hip and your knee joint. This tissue is much more superficial. And a lot of times when people are trying to get their forward fold or their pancake or a split, what's actually holding them back isn't actually this superficial tissue here, it's actually the deeper tissue that only crosses the hip joint. So when we train abduction with a bent knee, what that means is that we can specifically target that deeper tissue that holds a lot of people back. So in order to do this, we're gonna do what is everybody's favorite, the frog. So from this position, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by spreading our knees out as wide as we possibly can. The way to set this up, though, is I want your knees bent at a perfect 90-degree angle and your feet and ankles at 90 to them. So it's 90 at the ankles, 90 at the knees, 90 at the hips. Start spreading the hips out as wide as you possibly can. Then from there, you're going to take a deep breath in. I want you to drive your elbows into the floor, push your hips back towards your heels, and then the piece de resistance here is I want you to start scooping your pelvis up and under. I'm gonna flip around and give you guys a little view of what that looks like. So, for that pelvic tuck, once again, I'm setting up here, 90 at the ankles, 90 at the knees, 90 at the hips. Drive the elbows into the floor, push the hips back towards the heels, then I'm gonna start creating posterior pelvic tuck, like I'm trying to get my pelvis to wrap down around, like it's gonna push through to the floor and I'm gonna spike my tailbone into the ground, or like I'm trying to push my lower back into the sky. Perfect. From here, we're just gonna hold this for a nice, easy 3 minutes. Once again, come back to that restorative breathing pattern. Deep breath in. And exhale slowly, softly, deeply. At any point, try and spread the knees out just a little bit wider. Give yourself that little wiggle and drop into it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 minutes total. We're gonna go 2 minutes, nice, gentle, easy, static stretching. And then that final 3rd minute, I'm gonna show you how you can make it a really nice, dynamic stretch as well. But for now, just relax. Try and sink into it a little bit more, a little deeper. Open those knees a little wider. Notice if one side feels more open than the other, or if one side feels tighter. And then if you can even bias it to one side. So let's see, for me right now, my left side is actually feeling much tighter and much more limited. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and drop and sink that hip specifically towards the floor, biasing the opening on that side. Oh, that's a good feeling right there. Whew. Amazing work, guys. Beautiful. We're just about a minute and 45, a minute 15 in. Got about 30 seconds here left in the static stretch. Letting things open up even more, even deeper. Spread those knees out a little wider. Tuck that pelvis backwards a little bit more. Drive the hips even more towards the heels. Letting them open up. This one can be a little intense, but just stay with it. A little time under tension goes a long, long way. Beautiful. Here we go. And now for our final minute, we're going to make it a little dynamic. So what I want you to do is I want you to push the elbows into the floor, drive the hips back towards the heels, find the very edge of your stretch, and then you can come out of it just a millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters, and you're just gonna play with that rocking motion. Play with pushing into the edge and then coming out. If you want, you can use the breath for this, so you can inhale, exhale, push into that edge, and then inhale to come out. Relaxing, releasing at any moment, letting those knees open up a little bit more, a little bit wider. You got about 20 seconds left here. Beautiful, almost there. Just giving a little bit of movement, a little bit of rocking in those hips for just another 5, 4, 3, 2, and now give me a final deep breath in. Exhale slowly, sink, 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 sink. Try and spread those knees out as wide as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna come out of this, and trust me on this, just sprawl forward on your belly. There is no grace to be had, only gains. Just come out of it nice and slowly. Those hips are gonna feel absolutely amazing. If you need to get a little bit of feeling back into them, you can always windshield wiper them from side to side, nice and gentle. And there we go. Beautiful work, everyone. This is almost the end. We've just got one final thing to do, and that's just a nice set of cool down cars. Just to really sink into those hips and reinforce everything that we just did to them. So for that, we're gonna be back on our backs. Bring one leg up to a 90-degree angle. Give me that deep breath in. We're gonna go back and forth 4 times. So send it internally, and now external rotation. Squeeze into that. Slowly come back to internal rotation, squeeze it, and then external rotation. Squeeze it up even more. Give me internal rotation nice and deep as much as you can go, and then external rotation. Squeeze it up and drive. Final time here, squeeze it, and come back across. Another deep squeeze for 3, 2, 1. Almost there. Send it laterally. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now bring it back across. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing. Let's go ahead and switch legs and finish it out. Deep breath in. Internally rotate. Squeeze it there for 1. And then bring it back across. Squeeze into that external. 1,000. And now send it outward. Deep breath in. 1, 2. Bring it across. Deep breath in. 1, 2. Send it out. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Bring it across. Deep breath in. And squeeze it up like you're trying to kiss your foot. 1, 2, 3. Send it back out. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And bring it back across. Final time here. Deep breath in. And squeeze it for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Beautiful work there, guys. All right. So like I said, these are level 0 connective tissue inputs for the rotational movement of the hips. These are low intensity, high duration, which means that you can do them with a relatively high frequency. If you can manage to do this routine, I'd say 3, even up to 4 times per week, and hold that consistently for ideally a period of 6 to 8 weeks, you will feel massive improvement in your hips. Once again, thank you guys so much for working with me, and I'll catch you in the next.